Hello, Eileen here, and I wanted to share a little bit of a recent haul just so I can put the stuff away. So it's a collective haul. This is from Tuesday morning. So I don't know how much these were originally. It says $3.99, so they probably were. So it has them as $3.99 originally and then 99 cents, and you get 4 of these. And you can obviously, they're plastic, so you can paint over them. They're like plastic dimensional stickers. So they're pretty neat. So I got 2 packs of those, just because you can add them to pretty much anything. You can add them to scrapbooks, mixed media projects, even frames for artwork. So they're pretty cute. And then I got these little apothecary labels. I have a ton of these little bottles I had purchased from Tim Holtz and Seven Gypsies and other places, and ones that just came with glitter in them. And you can put these little labels on them to make them look antique, or obviously, I mean, these are just label stickers, so you can just use them for pretty much any project. And it comes with 48 stickers. So I got that from Tuesday morning. Then on Amazon, I bought this. It's at a pretty good price right now. Holbein acrylic gouache, and they call it acrylic gouache. This is what it looks like. You get 8, so there are 11 colors, and then a bigger white. The colors are 8 milliliters and the white is 12 milliliters, and you get all these colors. And I actually swatched them out with these tiny little swatches in my Hobonichi when I first got them. So it was Wednesday, November 1st, and this is what they look like. And then I kind of miscalculated and I didn't fit the black in, but that's okay, it doesn't really matter. So this is kind of how they look. They're super bright, and I actually painted this with them as well. They're super bright and pretty opaque. So it's kind of a mix between gouache and acrylic. So I think you can work with it longer than acrylics, maybe, I'm not sure. But they do dry permanent, so you can paint over them. Whereas gouache, you can kind of reconstitute with water, kind of like watercolors, and if you go over it, it could, you know, mess up the underneath painting. So I just thought it would be fun to try. It was a little over $20, so I thought it was a good deal. Yeah, so that's kind of how they look. So that's the acrylic gouache. And then I also placed an order at Jackson Art Supplies, which is a British store. It's in England. So, and they have their own line of paintbrushes that they were having on sale that day. So here it says Jackson's, and this is specifically for acrylics, and it's size 0. And of course, as you know, I have a passion for collecting paintbrushes that are fine tipped, in the hopes that I find a really good one someday. So we'll see. I just need something that's firm yet soft. Is that so much to ask for? Apparently it is. Then I just purchased some Schminke professional watercolors, their professional line, and I got 1 tube of the May Green. This is a 5 milliliter tube, and the Schminke were actually on sale at the time as well, which was perfect because that's what I had wanted to buy. There was the Schminke watercolors. I had said I wouldn't really buy any more, but I'll show you why I decided to go ahead and get a few more colors. This is the Phthalo Blue, Cobalt Turquoise, Quinacridone Magenta, Transparent Red Deep, that's one of their new colors, and Naples Yellow Reddish, which is supposedly a good skin color. So I'll come back to that in a minute. And then I also purchased some watercolor paper samples. So if you don't purchase anything heavy, kind of like this package was, the shipping is only like a couple bucks. So it was a pretty good deal. So this is rough paper, 300 GSM, so it's very thick and it's rough grained. It's by Canson. It's their Moulin de Roy line. And so I don't know if I'm crazy about this one because the rough texture is very kind of, it's like machine stamped. You can really see like a repetitive pattern in it. So I don't know if I love that. I just kind of got whatever options were cheap and I guess available, because a lot of them were sold out at the time. So this is also from their Moulin de Roy line with the 300 GSM, and this is hot press, so it's perfectly smooth. This is Saunders Waterford, and also 300 GSM, and this is high white paper. And this is 100% cotton, and you can use pretty much any medium on it. Watercolor, gouache, acrylic, pastel, pen and ink, pencil, charcoal. So this is another Saunders Waterford, but this is white. So I think you can see a difference. I mean, it's white, but it's kind of an off-white, whereas the high white is just white. And they're both very smooth textured. Then I got these two. So this is the Jackson's Own paper, which is handmade rag watercolor paper. And it has these different samples in it. So it has this super thick, pretty much rough grained textured one. And then this thick, oh wow, that's one sheet of paper. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's like, I can't show you really, but it's like super thick. I thought it was several sheets of watercolor paper right there. It's very, very thick. And then another one that's very, very, I mean, it's like, it's not even like watercolor paper, it's like board. It's basically like watercolor board. And that's because there's a 300 GSM, that's the first one, which is kind of like thick watercolor paper, but then you have 410 GSM and 630 GSM, which is, you know, so basically 200 and 300 pound ones. So yeah, the 200 and 300 pound ones are very thick, and I believe these are basically rough textured. And finally, I got these paper samples from Stillman and Byrne. And they do sell notebooks that you can buy on Amazon. So if I really love any of these, I can always, you know, go ahead and buy them on Amazon. And I think either Jerry's Artorama or Dick Blick online sell these notebooks as well. So there are definitely lots of options. And I did want to try out their paper before buying any of the notebooks to see how they do with watercolor or other mediums that they're meant for. So this is Alpha Series Heavyweight. This is probably just like sketchbook paper. This is Extra Heavyweight Beta Series, and I think you can use watercolors with this one. This is Gamma Series. So these are off-white. And the Delta series is also kind of off-white, extra heavyweight. Epsilon series, oh okay, this is like interesting. It's relatively thin, but it's very smooth. And you can see it's a bit even see-through because it is pretty thin. And Zeta series, extra heavyweight and very smooth. So that's kind of nice. And this is textured beige paper. So this would be kind of like a beige notebook, and this is a gray toned, and this is a black, which is just regular kind of drawing paper. So it's, and this one is the most textured out of the, yeah, out of the three, the brown is the most textured. So this would be good for drawing, and then the more heavyweight stuff would be good for watercolors, I think. So, okay. So the reason I decided to get more of the Schminke was because if you guys remember, I had this container of Schminke, and I had gotten the set that came with that. There were 12 in there. So what I did instead was, because I only had 12, it didn't make sense to keep them in there. So what I did was put my Prima watercolors in this one because I had 24 Prima. And I didn't love this container because everything kept falling out and nothing really, you can't fit another road in here either. But I used double-sided tape and now it's, you know, not going anywhere. Now it's pretty sturdy. So I've been using my Prima watercolors in this one. And I've been using them for my Hobonichi actually mostly. It's great for that. And so since I did that, I used one of my Prima watercolor containers because I had 2 of these. And I still got to find a sticker to cover this up because that's not attractive. So for my Prima one, I put in my Schminke watercolors, and when I did that and I only had the 12 colors, I realized, you know, it doesn't make a great portable, and I just put them in the middle because I was actually measuring out how many more I could fit and how many more I could buy. What I realized was that it didn't make great for a portable set because I didn't like only having 12 colors. So that's why I bought these extra colors, was to make it more of a good travel set, so I would have more options. So this I would actually add to, like, you know, an empty one, and then I have space for, let's say, 6 here, 7, and then this goes here, 8. So 8, and I had bought 6. And the other 2 colors that I plan to add there are 2 browns that I have from my Holbein watercolors that are in tubes. So I'm going to add a burnt sienna and a burnt umber because this one is sorely lacking in browns, and I didn't feel like buying any more browns in Schminke because they're kind of expensive and I already have it, and you know, it's just brown, it's pretty plain. This has kind of like an Indian red, and then it has one of these, I think it's maybe this one is a sepia brown, or maybe it's this one. So it's like a very grayish brown, and this is kind of an Indian red. So neither of them are really truly brown. So that's why I'm adding the other ones. So if you guys want to see what any of these colors look like, you know, on paper, I can definitely do that. Just let me know. I was gonna do mini swatches, but now this video is getting longer than I anticipated, so I'm gonna just end it right here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back, you know, with another video, I'm sure, soon. Thanks, bye.